local high school. Um, I was a college diver in college. I dove at Clarion University.
Nice.
Um, yeah, so I'm very into Olympic sports, if that makes sense.
Yes.
And then I coach football and diving at a local high school right now.
Very, very cool. Awesome.
So, getting a little bit about your background and building this, you know, what you've built, I'm very curious into understanding from the coaching and athlete perspective of, the dedication and stuff that it takes to be obviously a high level athlete is incredibly difficult.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. No, I know. I kind of just one step at a time, like as opportunities come, I have said yes to things that sometimes I'm like, what am I even doing? But I keep saying yes and like I'm willing to try and learn and grow and be not good at something and try to become good at it and all that stuff. So it really is like the athletic piece, like I think there's times where I'll stop and I'll get frustrated. I want to give up and I'm like, keep going. But then there's other times where I'm like, okay, like this is what I preach, right? I talk, it's so many things that I talk about is like I'm actually like need to listen to my own advice. It's stuff that's not new. Everybody knows it. We just have our own spin on it and our own experiences. But I sometimes I've been like, oh, that's why I was a good softball player. That's why I was a good, that's why I was an Olympian, is because of like this little aspect that's pushing me over here where normally I maybe wouldn't do that. So
No, I totally trust me, I get it. I mean, I bring everything back to athletics in the sense of like it's really tough being obviously a high level athlete of like not wanting to see failure. Like
totally.
I've been in that boat as well. Like I totally get like you
Yeah,
start I'm like the only way I'm gonna get this thing to succeed is to be a part of something that's gonna succeed is like with my own will of willing myself, willing everybody else with it to build. So
totally. Yeah, and getting the right team and like the right
yes.
strengths and all the things. Yep.
Yeah, it's like, I've like I said, I coach football, so I coach a team sport, and I've done an individual sport for so long. They're very different, but to be able to put both of them in perspective. So, like, I want to know a little bit about you because I think that's like super important. Like looking back now, what are the most proud moments like in athletics and outside of athletics that you have?
Obviously, representing the United States of America was the biggest honor. Just to be named to Team USA alone before you even step on the field for a win or a loss, like it's the fact that you actually are representing the United States of America. So to me, that was truly, truly the biggest honor. Then eventually winning gold with my teammates, our coaches, the people that put in the grind. Like everybody usually sees the finished product and the results, but they don't see the work that goes into it. And knowing what it took to get to that point, I feel like that, being able to, for me, just come from a family in Southern California who didn't have much, but it was more about, hey, like go out and give all that you have. And so I think the college scholarship was just, it obviously was an absolute crucial part to the process. I really thought that was a means to an end. I loved softball, but I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew getting a chance to get a scholarship was just transforming for my family and for my future. And so I thought, okay, it'll be this opportunity to play at the University of Arizona, get a degree. And it was so much bigger than that. We won national championships while I was there. It really formed me into who I am today. And so I think representing Arizona and on that national stage and being three-time national champion while I was there, like those are all the moments I think all these other little moments growing up led to that, but then that was the big, like, I can't even believe this is real. And that I think has been huge in even me taking so many risks now later in my life of just why not like put it all on the line. You never know what could happen. Like things that just blow your mind might take place because you took a risk.
Yeah. I mean, what's the saying, shoot for the stars, land on the moon kind of thing, especially when you're like dealing with any kind of risk taking. Like I think like, being in athletics, being around athletics, dedication and drive through any trials and tribulations is gonna see you succeed at the end. Like I think that's awesome. Like in your career, as you were coming up, like you talk about Arizona and going to college, what was like the hardest part of your career, do you think?
I think it was the beginning. It was can I make it? It was that, do I measure up? Those self-doubts that wanted to creep in on those hard days. And obviously you don't get there without being tested, but I think at the end of the day, it's this ability to say, I'm gonna have bad days, I'm gonna have hard days. And when I want to quit and give up, like what voice am I gonna listen to? And I remember my freshman year just thinking, I don't think I have what it takes. I was homesick. I was a freshman on my own for the first time and called mom and was like, I don't think this is it for me, you know? And I was so thankful she just encouraged me to keep going, keep trying. I talk about that a lot when I share my story because I could have walked away before it even began. And it was really, it wasn't on the good day you want to walk away. It was on the hard day and the day that you doubt. And so for me, like I think of that. Then when I made Team USA in the beginning, you're like, yes, I can be here. I deserve to be here. And then you get there, you're like, oh my gosh, what am I doing here? And so I think it's that being surrounded by superstars. I think the threat that creeps in of just comparison will absolutely paralyze you and it will immediately zap you of your own strengths if you let it. And
Yeah.
so I had to really dig down and get back to like, why did I get here? What are my strengths? And go all in with that as opposed to looking and comparing. And because immediately for me, I was next to women who could hit the ball harder than I'd ever could imagine. I couldn't no matter what I did. And so I had to get back to why I was there, staying clutch, getting the job done, training like I trained, and being a part of a team and fulfilling the role that I, was brought in to fulfill.
Yeah. I mean, everybody, for a team to work together, everybody has to do their part. Like, I know I use it in football all the time. You got to do your 1/11th, your one part on the field. That's what's going to see you succeed. Journey.
Yeah, it's such an important part. I think there's so many different aspects to our careers, and coaching is one of them. I've done some giving back, some coaching, some instruction as like a private instructor as well. And I think just it's so much more than just the sport. You're building people up as humans. You're building them up as leaders. You're giving them confidence from within that's going to carry well beyond whatever sport they're competing in. And so to me, like that's the part because I think as athletes, we tap into so many of those areas. We deal with failure recovery, we deal with the struggle, and then the mindset that goes with how to, overcome that. Now, a lot of athletes struggle in the sense when they're done with their sport and the identity piece, right? But then if you give other opportunities and you see, okay, no, we can actually utilize those same skill sets and then take it into that next area, I think you can use it in such a positive way. And so I love that. I love you being able to pour in. And I do think it really, in everything that we do, the real growth is going to happen when there is that male female partnership. Like, obviously, female sports are growing so much,
Yes.
but I played for male coaches. I have different advisors. I have people who have been really successful in businesses. And to me, male or female, that part doesn't matter as much as who the person is, the character, and what they bring to the table. But with that being said, it's been so fun to see female sports grow in such a massive way and the opportunities like they've never been before. That's what's there right now. And we're just seeing that exploding.
Yeah. Typically, we see Olympic sports making or their participation going up during Olympic years. And that's something in our app that I'm very passionate about is growing it into dealing with other sports outside of your traditional football, baseball, hockey. I want to see it grow into a once every 4 years we do an Olympic style. Where do you think you know, obviously I know I'm talking about the app for just a minute. I know that you're not a big fantasy player, as you said in our last when I spoke to you last, and that's okay. That's exactly actually what I and we are looking for, because we want to understand how to get non-fantasy players involved. Like I know it's become such a market or a group, a niche market that allows for people that are in the sport, that are in the realms of playing fantasy sports to keep building. But my goal is to bring in new people to enjoy the game and make it different. Like that's what it's all about, in my opinion.
Yeah, for me, like I immediately think of like softball is the sport, and college softball kind of is where it's at right now. I mean, there's Athletes Unlimited, there's Pro League, there's another small pro league, there's the international game, but really like all the attention all year has been like these really big teams, that are kind of at the top. And this year, there's a lot of parity, like you're not sure who's gonna win. And so I feel like those are the players that I know, those are the ones that I'm like, oh, I'm following that. So yeah, like maybe if it's like in my realm of my expertise and my love and my passion, like that's different for me. Like I don't really watch baseball. My husband does. It's on in the house. But like I'm kind of like, well, do I really care if I don't watch this all the time? I mean, and so
Yes.
I think like, if there starts to be an avenue and there's different sports in that sense, then I think that absolutely can open and there's enough of a draw for that. Like, I mean, softball fans are pretty committed and dedicated and loyal. So there's just definitely opportunities that you're like, okay, for me, like something like that would make sense and like be a draw.
Yeah, and that's kind of like it's kind of my thought process when we sit down and we think about it and we group it up. Like obviously we're trying to bring in two different things. We're trying to bring in the stock market elements as well as, the fantasy sports elements, but also opening our demographic up to two different things. Think outside of the box. Like you said, I mean, using softball as the example, like softball has a great following. Like I understand how that how that realm
Yes.
works. Um, but I mean, I think there's a lot of markets that obviously with football and baseball and basketball, they're huge markets. There's so many people, they have a
Yes.
huge following. You
It's the biggest.
you have
Hmm.
to be able to go to step into those markets, but once you're in there, how do you branch out into other things, And really it's like getting in contact with other leagues, whether it be, you know, the NCAA or a professional league over here or over there and really trying to get those avenues to get them on board of like, all right, I want to help your sport and grow your sport through
Yeah.
something else. And really being a sports guy, it's all about growing sports in my opinion. So when I was asked to join the team and be a part of F2MX and being, they told me the mechanics. I only saw it rise because you can take a player and you can have a set price to be able to move from each player. So it doesn't really have to be, you know, Patrick Mahomes, or a star.
Yeah.
It can be anything in anybody. You can see golfers' stats rise. You can see F1, you can see baseball,
Yeah, I
you can
love that.
see
Yeah.
all
You
those
tap
things.
into people's passions,
Yeah.
really, is what happens.
And you're not like, I love fantasy sports. So I'm a big fantasy sports guy as well. Don't get me wrong. Play so many fantasy football leagues, but same thing
Yeah.
with softball. Your innings are going to change how your players are doing and how your teams are doing. So I think that's like a really niche market that really we could step into with the abilities that we have. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I think that versatility and flexibility being something unique and different absolutely is crucial to say, hey, we offer this.
Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, connecting the Olympics to it is really big in my opinion. And really getting the Olympic sports as well as like the women market of
Yeah.
fantasy sports to engage and really that's the goal. I mean, you look at the numbers, it's a growing market. You're seeing the numbers grow every year of transition. And in the stock market realm, actually the numbers are higher. So we're kind of hoping that that kind of combines. But really, when it comes down to it, my biggest thing is getting the person that doesn't play to play. And like you said, I totally take, and I think it's a great idea, marketing it as tapping into those markets that are so tight knit, but also very unrepresented in the space. So, I'm thinking your softballs, your wrestling, all those, and really getting and talking to people about it. That's why, obviously, I'm thankful for Brittany to allow me to, connect me with you to have those conversations. And I'm a big motivational coach, so being able to talk to
That's
you and know that
awesome.
you're a motivational speaker helps me out a lot
Yes.
because
Yeah, no, I love it. And I think I do. I think just more access, more visibility, more opportunity, simplified, everything being simplified more. I think we're seeing numbers go up because just education, right? There's so many more ways to learn. I think those that can give the best understanding in the most simple way, I think they're going to win the race, right? Because that's what people want. Like information's coming at us so fast and furious. And so it's a matter of being able to say, hey, what speaks to me,
yep,
what do I have time for, because we are so pulled in so many different directions. And then okay, hey, this is, I could tie this fun into something over here that actually can be educational as well. And so I think being able to have a platform that gives that opportunity to people, like you said, in an untapped market, can really open some new doors.
to change one thing, what would it be in your career?
When I was competing,
Yep, just in general.
it
Like,
would it oh well, it would have been that my junior year, the only year we lost the national championship, we won. We
hey,
got second place that year. We'd get first.
hey, that's a good if that's all you change, that's a good change. Um, no, so what do you think the biggest opportunity? I just have a couple more questions for you. I don't want to take all
No
your
problem.
time.
Yeah, you're fine.
What's the biggest opportunity in sports right now, do you think? For athletes, for young athletes?
I mean, it feels like NIL is the biggest opportunity, honestly. And I think with that, just for athletes to figure out how to stay at the top elite level in every way, I could see like the carrot being dangled and like how it could pull some people away from excellence, in what they're doing, but being able to still tie those two things together.
Um, one piece of advice for, a young female athlete growing up, like what do you tell or a young athlete in general um about adversity and getting over those, mental and barriers that do come up with athletics?
I would say expect it. When you expect it, it shouldn't take you down. When you know you're going to face hard times, learn the lesson as quick as possible and move forward with the lesson learned. And that's it. I think that's the biggest thing people struggle with. And that mentally people get taken out because they cannot handle failure. And the thing is, every level you climb, the more you have to go back to that focus because it gets harder to handle the pressure and the failure even more when you get to the next levels. And now with social media, there's a million different voices. So you need to keep your head down and trust and know who you are and know there's going to be a lot of opinions, but you got to silence those outside voices and you got to just keep grinding. I mean, at the end of the day, like there will be struggles and trials. It's all going to be determined. Your success will be determined by how you handle that failure.
Totally agree. I trust me, I got athletes that I'm gonna use this and be like, you guys gotta understand that this happens all the time. I've been telling you this for a long time.
Yes.
But with the idea of like with F2MX even what we're still looking for is we're still looking to build a safe platform that allows for everybody to be able to play, to be able to learn, to be able to grow. And I think that like that's kind of our vision for it. Um what do you think, advice that we should take into tapping into those markets and really building it to be something so inclusive?
Yeah, I think simplicity is number one. I think anything that's new is usually like uncomfortable. And so if you can go into something and it feels like really normal and natural and easy, I think that keeps people to stay as opposed to it was hard. I don't get it. I'm gone for good. I think fun. I think everybody's kind of drawn to like it's catchy, it's fun, it pulls me in. I want more of that. And then community. I think just being able to say, hey, there's other like-minded people, people that I might get along with, maybe some new people that I might meet, and so if there's a way to build community to me, the groups and the ways that people are able to pull, it's because there's some draw that's connecting you not just to something, but other people.
And that's the goal. Like we're trying to take a sports market of people that love sports and people that love the idea of investing or learning how to invest and really trying to mix it together to bring it the best of both worlds. Like being a being a business teacher, I love the idea of a stock market moving. I like to understand that. I remember when I was in high school, I didn't know anything about that. I still don't know as much as I would love to know about it. But to use a likewise tool through sports, whether it be any sport that you want to see that grow, and now you're learning a new a new way to grow as well in your own mind and something that you can use later on down the road that may even pay off in your investments down the road is really the goal that we have.
Well, and I think people just being able to talk about it and it
Yeah.
becoming more natural. At first, it's foreign, but then all of a sudden you learn. My son would come home. Actually, both my younger sons would come home after a certain class, and they'd have a teacher maybe for history, but they'd be talking about stock market and they'd be talking about money and they talk about business. And that's what my son's coming home repeating, not what they read in the history book. They're talking about what their teacher was talking about, and they were interested in it. And I think when it can be shared in a way that's easy to understand, it really does make you ask more questions. And we start asking questions, you find answers, and then it just pulls you in. And so I think if you're, yeah, I think as a platform to do that, I do think it can be very beneficial to anyone of any age. I think that's the other cool thing is you shouldn't have to be a certain age, right? It could be for the person who's maybe they think a little bit older, but hey, I just hadn't looked into that before. What does that look like? Or someone in high school or college, right? So I think
Yeah.
that's huge too.
And the biggest thing, being being able to take a risk at a risk free, right? So like we're making it a free to play game, right? So really the scariest part of investing is the not knowing if you're going to win or lose your money. So if you in our minds, if we make it a free to play as we grow through it, it's going to teach those people. You're going to have people wanting to play because there's essentially no risk. It's bragging rights, but you're learning through that risk because you know as through sports and as through business, fear and failure run hand in hand. Everybody's afraid of failure. You're gonna shy away, and the, you can't hit the home run if you shy away, right? You got to step into it.
Yeah, if you don't swing, right? You got to take your best cut. You just got to hack sometimes. Sometimes you just got to wait for the right pitch.
I appreciate all the feedback. Obviously, it's huge for us and the ability.
That's what's going to come down to. Otherwise, yeah, the idea of stock market and, really teaching a lot of people pulling in untapped market, tie it in with sports and, and fantasy sports, which are really big. I think all of those are great areas and a lot of eyes are on those areas as is, but if you can just continue to grow that market and expose it to more people, I think that's huge in a fun way. And like you said, a free way that people think, okay, I don't have as much risk. I want to learn this. And it could be that platform that makes all the difference.
Yeah, obviously, I'm very big into wanting to grow, you know, the female market as well as the Olympic sports market, both hand in hand. So if you need anything
Yeah.
from me,
Well, yeah, I would just say right off the bat, like find someone who is in those markets, like a female, maybe athlete or a former athlete that already does play the fantasy stuff, that already is into the stock market stuff, and maybe find some people who are super passionate about that, because then they can also relay their information in a way that is maybe a little different than you might do it. And and so I think that would be absolutely huge. And then the reminder that nothing can replace experience. Like I'm always reminded that like you have to do things to get better at it. It doesn't matter. We can think about it all day long. We can even get so much great information, but until we're actually living it out, it doesn't matter because nothing can replace experience. And so, even with giftings and talents and abilities, you still have to experience things to find out like, okay, where can I grow? What can I do? What would I do different next time? And so just keep doing it. And that would be my only other advice would be to find a couple of those people and try to get the different sets of market people of have what they're already doing, what their knowledge is, and maybe combine the information into one after you kind of get the different subsets.
no. Well, if
That's
you have
awesome.
anything else, please let me know. It was awesome meeting with you.
Yeah, so
And
great talking to you.
yeah, and I'm gonna tell Brittany thank you. It was awesome to be able to connect and really just talk about it. And I hope I filled you
Yep.
in. And I'm gonna take that
Yeah.
feedback you gave me and make it better. That's the goal.
Yeah. Great. I love it. So good talking to you, Mikey.
Yeah, nice talking to you too. Thank you.
Okay, have a great night.
You too.
Okay, bye.